Hi, so today I'm here to talk about the Sagittarius Man and how to get with him. So, a Sagittarius man's birthday falls between November 22nd and December 21st. The symbol of the Sagittarius man is the archer, his element is fire, and his quality is mutable. So, whenever I think of Sagittarius sun signs, I think of luck. It's just the first thing that pops into my mind. It seems as if a lot of these signs I know or know of tend to be lucky, and though they don't usually see this for themselves, it's definitely something that I've noticed, some kind of a trend. A lot of celebrities or famous people actually are Sagittarius sun signs. If you ever just kind of look into it, there's quite a few. Sagittarius sun signs are ruled by the planet Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of luck, so that's where that comes from. Sagittarius men are the kind of guys that are friendly and open, they'll come across as warm and inviting. But right when you're starting to think hey, who is this guy? He says something extremely blunt that could come across as offensive. And he probably doesn't even realize that he's offended you. He really won't even notice that he's insulted you until he glances at your facial expression and sees that you're this guy many times has a smile on his face and doesn't love to dress up, but he usually has some sort of style that he adheres to, and what I mean by that is he usually kind of falls into some kind of a category, whether it be the intellectual type of style and dress, or sporty, hippie, grungy, etc., etc. But again, like I said, he doesn't really like to dress up. So, a lot of Sagittarius have high, broad foreheads, and they love to tell outrageous jokes, and they really enjoy capturing the attention of any person around them to make them laugh. They love to make people laugh, and they love to get people wrapped up in whatever dramatic story they're telling at that moment. So, it's kind of similar to a Gemini who tells these big, exaggerated stories, trying to get attention, but with the Sagittarius man, it's more they just like to have people wrapped up in what they're saying or their jokes and stuff like that. They just love the attention of people listening to them. This guy can be cocky or even come across as an asshole 1 minute, and then moments later, maybe days later, he can be insecure or sweet. It's interesting. He can be tough to figure out, which of course is intriguing. This guy is the ultimate optimist, and he loves to push forward and feel as if he has a purpose and something to pursue in life. Sagittarius men do best when they feel like they're going after something or following their dreams. They have a plan that they've mapped out and they're following that. They're always doing best when they're looking to get to a destination. This man will probably love to travel because he hates the idea of being stuck with nowhere to go. He hates the idea of a ceiling, or something limiting him. Sorry for yelling that. He can take on a lot of projects or activities at once, and he tends to be happier and more successful the busier he is. So this is a sign that doesn't like sitting around doing nothing, and when he does, he tends to get mopey. So he'll definitely be that person that's happier when he's extremely busy. He might get stressed, but he'll actually enjoy it even if he complains about it. So this guy is constantly dreaming big and always coming up with big, elaborate plans, and sometimes, they might seem like they're never going to happen, and he'll just share them completely openly with you. He truly believes they'll come true, and he'll think that his plans and dreams and everything will work out. This guy wants to be able to predict his future because he wants to be in control of it. Like I said, he's an optimist, but he doesn't just want to leave his future to the fates. If something in his big plan does go wrong, this is the type of guy who'll become extremely dramatic and act as if his life is over. Maybe he'll put up really sad Facebook statuses or text you that, life sucks and it's all coming to an end, there's no point of it anymore. That's what this guy will do. Definitely take it to the extreme if something, doesn't go right in his pursuit towards his goals or dreams. He'll act like his life is over, he refuses to listen to anybody or anything and just complains and feels sorry for himself. And it can actually be quite irritating to deal with if you're a friend or having a relationship with this man, because he really just wants the pity party. and he's not going to accept you trying to make him feel better. He has to work it out on his own. But when he finds a way to work it on his own, it's usually because he's wrapped up in some new plan or pursuit. Like, he always comes up with something to get himself going again. So just remember that he's not always going to be down in the dumps. He'll eventually pick himself up, but, it might take a little while, and he might need to just have his little pity party. So this type of attitude, like I said, can be very frustrating for anyone close to this man because, like I said earlier, Sagittarius men and women tend to have, luckiness or luck in their life. They're the type of people that get not just a second chance, not just a third chance, a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, a seventh, an eighth, a 19th, a millionth, a 10,000 zillionth, billionth, prejillionth chance. They can seem like things are always falling into place for them. He might not follow through on his big elaborate plans or his big dreams many times in his life, but opportunities will always present themselves to the Sagittarius man because he will always have some type of opportunity that presents itself towards the Sagittarius man. It just seems to happen this way. Or maybe they create their own opportunities by, pushing forward and having these dreams. I guess you can really look at it either way. So even if a Sagittarius man is having a little pity party, once he gets over it, he has a really good sense of humor, and he can, make fun of himself once he's past his moment of despair and life is terrible. Once he's over that, he can really make fun of himself and be like, wow, well, what was my problem? He can tease himself, and he doesn't mind people teasing him as long as he's past it. So just remember that. If he's having, a moment, leave him be. Let him figure it out. These men, are the type that are, always speeding around. They tend to be really fast walkers, the fastest walker out of anybody you know. Because they're always just, thinking ahead. They're always wanting to just pursue something. And that just tends to be, the way they look at life. Everything's usually, fast-moving. Decisions are made abruptly. They're not the type, even if they have their plans, they're not the type to really, sit down and think their whole plan through, methodically. They'll just kind of go for it and just pursue it and just take whatever energy they have. And these Sagittarius people tend to be energetic, at heart, and they'll just go after what they want. And what they want will probably change 100 times in a month, a year, you know what I'm saying. So you're interested in a Sagittarius man. One thing I have to say is don't expect to be settling down anytime soon. This is not really a relationship guy, so if that's what you want and you want to, start a life together and a family and get married, have kids, all that, try to find somebody else. Unless your version of settling down is traveling the world, exploring life without boundaries, the Sagittarius man really probably won't be interested in that kind of relationship of not having that. So the Sagittarius man doesn't want a woman who's going to try to impose rules on him and, act middle-aged and married when they're only 24 and just dating. Sag man likes to feel inspired and challenged by a woman, and he can love a woman or fall for a woman that he just has a really fun time with and they're just laughing together a lot. That's a big turn on to a Sagittarius man. He also appreciates a woman who can make, the gears in his brain turn, who makes him come up with new ideas, who stimulates him, who makes him think, all that sort of stuff. The Sagittarius man does well with a woman who does her own thing and accepts that he'll do his. It's kind of like that relationship where they're not always together, but when they do come together, they have a great time. That works for a Sagittarius man. The Sag man tends to be the active type, and that's not to say that they're in the best shape, because usually a lot of these Sagittarius men and women love food. They can be total foodies, really into it. But they enjoy the outdoors, they enjoy active lifestyles, and they like a woman who enjoys that too. Like I said, they enjoy adventure, and usually that's not going to come from watching the television, which, they'll enjoy that too, but they always want to, feel like they're living life and not just letting it pass them by. Sag men love a woman or a man who can make them laugh, keep them intellectually stimulated, like I said, and who are independent and do their own thing, but are also willing to explore the interests that the Sag man has. Sag men also tend to steer clear of drama and really don't enjoy arguing. He wants a woman to share his exciting life with. So if you want to know if a Sagittarius man is interested in you, it's pretty easy to tell. First of all, a Sagittarius man doesn't really care about, the physical appearance of a woman or a man as much as other sun signs. He's way more turned on by smarts and personality. You know, he really just goes for the mind and the spirit, so to say. So this type of guy, you know, will be all over you if he's interested in you. He's the type that will be quite flirty, though he's not the type to just be searching for sex. He wants to look for a relationship, or, like I said, someone to share his adventures with. He'll give you tons of attention, and he may start offering you advice. He'll be everywhere you are, and it might get to be, like, a bit too much. He'll probably just tell you he's interested flat out, like a couple of other sun signs I've talked to you about. He's not the most romantic, and like I said earlier, he can be a bit blunt and totally honest, which can come across as, like, very offensive. If he's feeling someone, he's feeling something, I guess, or somebody, he's probably just gonna say it, you know? It won't be, like, a big mystery. So, compatibility for Sagittarius men. You know, the fire signs like Aries and Leo are good matches for Sagittarius men. You know, a Sagittarius and a Sagittarius, as always, it can either work out really well, or it could just be a terrible clash. You know, a Sagittarius with a Scorpio or a Capricorn, there's definitely going to be some friction. You know, it could work out, but it's like, you know, opposites. Maybe they'll attract, and maybe they'll clash. A Sagittarius with a Libra or an Aquarius will definitely, you know, definitely be able to be friends. They might work out as lovers. Like I always say, friendship can turn into love, but these signs aren't going to have that, like, immediate spark or instant attraction that maybe a Sagittarius will have with other sun signs. But again, it could work out. It just might be more towards friends. Sagittarius with a Virgo or a Pisces is definitely going to have issues. It's just hard for these signs to work on in relationships, but that doesn't mean that they can't. It just takes a lot of compromise. Sagittarius, again, with an Aries or Leo is going to work out. It's going to be harmonious for the most. For some reason, I got cut off when I was talking and didn't notice it. So again, as I was saying, Sagittarius with an Aries or a Leo will be harmonious for the most part. Fire signs and other elements with each other tend to get along well. So a Sagittarius with a Taurus or a Cancer can actually be a really good match, and they can be one of those couples where it's opposites attract, you know, for the good, for the better. It can be a really extraordinary, fascinating relationship, and it might seem a little strange or different, but it's one of those things that could work out. Sagittarius with a Gemini, which is the exact opposite of the Sagittarius, like always, could really work out and be great and wonderful, or it could be terrible. So that is it about the Sagittarius man. I hope you enjoyed, and check out my other videos about men of different sun signs and a couple other different things about astrology. Please subscribe, and I hope you have a great day or night.